Here's a harsh truth. Most men will spend their entire lives broke, average, unfocused, and most will never figure out why. And here's the thing, it's not your work ethic, it's not how smart you are, it's not where you grew up or what you had access to, it's where your attention is going. And for 99% of men, there's one thing eating up more of their mental energy than anything else. Let me get a little closer so I can tell you exactly what it is. It's the obsession with women. I'm not saying that to be harsh. I'm saying it because I lived it. It was killing my focus for many years. But today I'm going to show you using real science, real examples, and the exact steps I took on how to fix this. So if you're a man who wants to become rich and successful, this will be by far the most important video you watch all year. So don't skip ahead, don't check your phone, don't multitask, just watch this whole video and I promise you it will be worth your time. So first off, let me tell you what my life looked like a few years ago. And I'm going to be completely honest because I think a lot of you guys will relate to this. Every single morning, the first thing I did was check my phone. Not for work, not for anything useful. I was just checking to see if she texted back. That's how my day would start. And guess what? If she did send a message, I would spend the next 30 minutes writing a reply. Literally word by word and thinking everything through. Is this too needy? Is this too dry? Should I just wait a little before replying? Basically, I was a grown man spending half of his morning on a text message. And it didn't stop there. Throughout the day, my brain would start thinking about her. What is she doing right now? Why hasn't she replied? Should I message her? I was stuck in a loop that gave me nothing back. Not happiness, not money, not progress, nothing. Now here's what's crazy about that. A study out of the University of California found that after any mental interruption, it takes an average of 23 minutes to get your focus fully back. So if you drift into these thoughts, let's say 10 to 15 times a day, you can do the math. You're wasting a lot of time. So it wasn't like I was lazy or stupid or anything. I was just pointing all my energy at the wrong thing. And the moment I understood that, everything changed. Now, before I get into what I actually did to fix it, I need you to understand something. Because if you go into this thinking it's just about willpower, I'm gonna go full David Goggins mode, you're gonna fail. Just trust me on this. I've tried the willpower thing so many times and it never worked because it's not a discipline problem, it's a biology problem. You see, neuroscientists have identified something called a variable reward loop, and that's the same thing that makes gambling so addictive. It's also the thing that makes you keep scrolling social media even when you don't want to. And guess what? Your dating life runs on this exact same mechanism. So I'm gonna explain it to you in very simple terms. When you don't know if that girl you like is gonna text back, your brain doesn't wait until she does to release dopamine. It releases it while it's waiting. The hope is the high. The uncertainty is what keeps you hooked, which is exactly the reason why you could be obsessed with a woman who doesn't even treat you well. That's why you check your phone over and over after sending one message. Your brain got hijacked and it can't get out of that loop on its own. Think about it this way. When you're sitting there waiting on a text, you're in the exact same state as someone sitting at a slot machine. You're not in control anymore. The loop is. And that loop genuinely does not give a shit about your goals. And here's where it gets even worse. Researchers in Netherlands ran a study where they had men briefly talk to a very attractive woman and then immediately after do some cognitive tests. And the crazy part is that the men's scores dropped significantly right after. Their working memory, their logical thinking all took a hit just from a brief interaction. Their brain was spending so much energy on trying to impress the woman that it had less left over for everything else. Now think about how that applies to your day-to-day situation. Every time you're texting some girl you like or some pretty girl pops up on your feed, you're literally becoming dumber. Your mind is not thinking at full capacity. You're running on a weaker signal. And because it feels normal, you don't even notice it. So you're trying to become rich with a brain that's partially somewhere else. So what exactly happens in your brain when you stop these obsessive thoughts over women? Well, studies have found that your testosterone skyrockets after a period of abstinence. And you might be thinking that testosterone is just for building muscle and stuff like that, but it's not. It's directly connected to your drive, your confidence, your willingness to take risks and go after things. It's basically the ambition hormone. So when you're constantly chasing these women, your body is running on low-level anxiety all day. And one more thing I want to show you before we can actually talk about how you can fix this is something called attention residue. Dr. Sophie Leroy at the University of Washington found that when you switch from one thing to another, part of your brain doesn't actually switch. A piece of your attention stays stuck on whatever you were just thinking about, especially if it's emotional. And that's what she calls attention residue. So if you check your messages in the middle of trying to work, and especially if it's from a girl you're attracted to, you don't just lose 30 seconds. You lose the next 20 minutes because your brain is still halfway in that conversation. Your brain is still processing it. It's still running through what you said, what she said, what it means, etc. All while you're sitting there trying to get something done. Now multiply that by every time you check your phone, every time your mind shifts, every situation you haven't mentally closed, and you start to see just how much this is actually costing you. So now you know exactly what you're dealing with. It's not a character flaw, it's not a weakness, it's just 4 different things. Your dopamine system, your cognitive bandwidth, your hormones, and your attention. And they're all working against you at the same time. And the thing is, 99% of men have no idea any of this is happening, so you're already ahead of most men. But now that we know exactly what we're up against, we can build something to actually beat it. So let me walk you through exactly what I did. It's just 5 things, but they're all equally important, so listen carefully. If you do all of them, I can guarantee you your life will look completely different in 90 days. And if you're wondering why I'm so confident, it's because I watched it happen to me, and to be honest, I'm not that special or that smart. So the first thing is you must delete all the dating apps. Bumble, Hinge, Tinder, whatever other apps there are, delete every single one of them. I know it sounds extreme, but every time you open one of those apps, even if it's just for 2 minutes, you're feeding the exact loop we just talked about. You're training your brain to go looking for that dopamine hit. And these apps are built by billion-dollar companies who hire teams of psychologists just to keep you coming back. So you're not gonna out willpower a product that's designed to be addictive. So just remove it entirely. Number 2, you have to clean up what you're looking at. Unfollow every single attractive woman on Snapchat, Instagram, TikTok, whatever. I don't care if it's a fitness page, a lifestyle account, or even a girl you know in real life. Every time one of those photos show up in your feed, your dopamine spikes. Your focus shifts, and for the next few minutes, you're thinking of smashing that woman, let's be honest. And there's actually been a ton of research done on this where people who are exposed to sexual content perform a lot worse on focus-based tasks right after. And the thing is, your feed is never neutral. It's either helping you focus or breaking it. There's no in between. So replace all these degenerate women with people who are actually sending out a positive message. Number 3, you have to have a go-to move when the urge hits. This one's really important because a lot of guys think that the goal is to stop feeling the urge, but that's not how it works. We're guys, we're gonna get horny. Not just once or twice, but multiple times throughout the day. The question is, what do you do with that? Well, you need a physical pattern interrupt ready to go. The second you feel yourself reaching for your phone to text that chick or getting horny, you do something physical instead. For me, it was push-ups or cold water on my face. Didn't matter which one. The point was to break the thought before it turned into a habit loop. And Charles Duhigg actually wrote about this in his book, The Power of Habit. His research showed that you can't just delete a habit. The craving doesn't disappear. What you can do, however, is intercept it at the moment it appears and redirect it somewhere else. And over time, the new response becomes the automatic one. But you have to be consistent, especially in the first few weeks. So pick your thing now. Push-ups, a walk, cold water, deep breaths, whatever. Just have it ready so when the urge comes, you already know what you're doing. Number 4, build something your self-worth can stand on. This one is super important, and it's one that most people skip because it's not as tactical as the others. The reason most men can't stop chasing is because deep down, being wanted by a woman is how they measure their own value. And I'm not judging. I used to be like that too. And if that's the case, you can delete every app, unfollow every account, and it still won't work because the need for validation is still there. It's got nowhere to go. You have to replace that scoreboard with something you can control. For me personally, it was my work. Every goal I hit, everything I built, every skill I developed, that became my proof that I was enough. Not whether some girl liked me. When you build real things, you develop a kind of confidence that doesn't need anyone's approval. And ironically, that version of you is much more attractive to women. But at that point, you're not even thinking about it. And finally, don't kill energy, redirect it. This is the one that ties everything together. A lot of guys here stop chasing women and they think the goal is to feel nothing, to suppress everything, to go monk mode, to go cold. And that's not what it is at all. And if you try to do it that way, you'll last about 2 weeks before you give in because you're fighting against a very powerful biological drive. The goal isn't to kill the energy, it's to reuse it. Napoleon Hill actually called this sexual transmutation back in 1937. He actually wrote a whole chapter about it in his book Think and Grow Rich. His argument was that the most driven and most successful people in human history weren't people who had no desire. They were people who learned to take that desire and point it directly at their work. That same intensity that goes into obsessing over a woman can go into building a business or making money. So when that energy shows up for you, don't fight it and don't follow it. Ask yourself, what's the most important thing I could put this into right now? Then use that fire and go do that. And there you have it. Now you know exactly what you need to do. And if this video helped you in any way, I would really appreciate it if you liked and subscribed. And I just want to leave you with one final thought. Your attention is your most valuable asset. The way you spend it right now is the life you're building, so choose carefully.